The Hawks forward was spilled on the play before he could get a shot through, and now the other way, it's Ben Hiltz with numbers. It's a 3-on-2 steal in on a toe drag, and then he scores!
The views and opinions expressed on the Lang and LeBlanc podcast are solely those of the hosts, producers, and guests of the program. They in no way, shape, or form reflect those of any affiliates the presenters or guests represent.
Adam Knowles trying to look back door. There's Andrew Hunt. He shoots. He scores! Don't it feel good? The Melfort Mustangs win Game 3 in Estevan. Andrew Hunt, the overtime hero.
From Leader to Langenberg, Weyburn to Wapella. We're back with the 11th episode of the Lang and LeBlanc podcast. I'm Brady Lang, one half of the Lang and LeBlanc podcast. Let's head out to check in with our other half out in Humboldt. How's it going today, Avery?
It's going good. My belly is full of hamburger helper. We're ready to go. It is draft week for the NFL. I'm excited to watch that on Thursday.
Yeah, it's going to be a big day. I go back and forth watching the drafts. I don't know. I love watching like kind of the theatrics in and behind the scenes, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm not going to stop my day to watch the NFL draft.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it is a time-consuming thing to watch. Like, I'll watch the first round, and then after that, anything that goes in the second or third rounds, I just follow up with on social media. It's kind of like attending a graduation. You don't know any of the people that are graduating, right? That's a Bill Burr joke.
You're at your cousin's grad. Your cousin's grad up in the Northeast or something like that. Yeah, exactly. You're just like, hey guys, I showed up. All right. Well, I guess we'll just get her going with that. Tonight's episode is a very special one. We're welcoming back the SJ boys because you guys loved them so much the first time they were on. In a few moments, both Marty Martinson and Mat Barrett will be jumping on the podcast. But before we get to that, a little bit more about who we are. I, for one, am Brady Lang. To make it simple as possible, I'm a broadcast journalist. So we'll just stick on that, okay?
Nice.
And then you, Avery. I'm actually based in Saskatoon. I should also add that in. But you go, Avery.
Yes, I'm a radio DJ based in Humboldt, Saskatchewan. My show makes it to Estevan and Swift Current and kind of a little bit of everywhere. So if you're in those areas, you can tune in at any point. Still not in Swift Current yet, though. We're waiting on that still. But
still getting everything ready to go?
Yeah, the tech people are working hard trying to get her done, and hats off to them out in Golden West there. They're working their butts off to get her done.
You really just want to be in every part of the province, right? Well, we have a podcast, so you can be.
Yeah,
so at least there's that.
Anyone can listen to us anywhere, even if you're in the tractor, riding in the field, getting the seeding done, which is approaching soon.
Just download it before and you'll be good to go. Don't even have to use Wi-Fi.
Nope.
Together, we are the Lang and LeBlanc Podcast, the show about Saskatchewan and the people that make this place so special. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, on YouTube now, or on our social media platforms, at Lang LeBlanc Live on Twitter and Instagram, and on Facebook at the Lang and LeBlanc Podcast. If you want to reach us, head to our website at langleblancpodcast.com. That's LANGLEBLANCPODCAST.com. I did that, and that was the first actual like spelling out of it that I did. So
yeah, we haven't spelt out the website letter by letter yet.
Yeah, it's just the Gmail that we always end up doing. But yeah,
live in live joke.
the live in live. We're keeping it fresh here on the Lang and LeBlanc podcast. We should get to our interview, Avery.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. It's going to be a long one. Let's get her done and let's get her rolling.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go. Our first guest tonight is originally from Regina, a mastermind of his own craft, a multi-time Bob Award winner, a one-time radio show love interest, and the pride of the Battlefords and the Battlefords North Stars. Please welcome the fourth friend of the podcast, Marty Martinson.
Woo! Hold your applause, everybody. Thank you, though, for having me on here. It's always a pleasure. This is only time number 2, but it already feels like home.
That's so sweet of you to say. until we get later on in the podcast and we ask you that question that you don't want to be asked. Because I can already see it. It was also a part of the intro. So we gave it away early, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Our second guest tonight is originally from west of our province, St. Albert, Alberta, the creator of Don't It Feel Good, a co-host on the hit podcast Cold Hard Sports Talk, a fan favorite at Nipawin Hawks games, especially when he's calling games for them. The pride of the Northeast and the Melfort Mustangs. Please welcome the fifth friend of the podcast, Mat Barrett.
There's just so much. I don't know if I want to say so much wrong with that intro or just so much that could just be completely thrown out the window there. What a wild, you took me on an adventure with that, but I'm glad to be back on again. You know, long time listener, second time caller, you know.
I wanted to catch you guys both off guard, and I think I did that because like Marty's face.
I was so lost there for a sec.
Just let Brady go. He'll
Hey, is he still talking about me? What?
Yeah.
We're all about surprises here, guys.
All of what I said is 110% completely true. So first off, how are you guys doing? Like, it's been what, a month and a bit since we last talked to you?
Yeah. Since then, I've played a lot of golf. So, you know, trying to get out on the golf course. Swing the club.
Congratulations.
I've been itching, man. Like, with no hockey this year, I have just been like itching to get out onto the golf course. I got some new golf clubs this year, a couple new toys in the bag, and like, oh man, I just want to golf every day, all day.
That's right. Well, that's why they call you Matty Tiger Barrett, right?
Yeah, something like that, right? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I think it has been about a month, but still feels like yesterday, eh?
Yeah, like, well, I guess like this, when it comes to COVID, every month seems just like the last month, right?
Yeah.
So
it all meshes together.
Yeah, like we have no sense of time anymore.
Oh yeah, it's like Groundhog Day, right?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day is the same.
And we're all Bill Murray, right?
Yeah. I look at my watch like, holy crap, it's April 26th already. Like where did the time go?
Yeah, and it's 2021 also.
Yeah, exactly. Feel old yet?
You know what else is weird? I think the decision makers with the SJHL are avid fans of the Lang LeBlanc podcast, because this is the second time in a row you guys are coming on at a very opportune time. There was another announcement in the SJHL today. Before we get to the actual announcement, did anything surprise you guys?
Oh, it was one of those kind of like, oh, hey, we're going to put out a release to just say things are happening. It was like, I looked at it, I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean,
nothing surprises me anymore. You know.
Yeah. Well, I guess first and foremost, I just say, I think I speak for all of us when we say, hey, sounds good. They're hoping for a season there next fall, and that's all we can really ask for at this time. But yeah, as far as you know, that kind of covers it. But yeah, looking forward to get back at it. Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, we're making plans to make plans about plans for possibly an announcement in the near future. It's like, yeah, I hope so.
Well, we've heard a lot of that lately, right?
Yeah,
especially
exactly.
when it comes to the sports world.
Yeah.
But just a little bit of background. So this is the announcement the SJHL put out today. I'm going to cut out some of the, you know, odds and ends.
Political jargon.
Yeah, the SJHL, the SJHL and its member clubs are making plans for a full return to play for the 2021-2022 season. So we're starting off okay. The SJHL will continue its efforts to work with the Saskatchewan government to ensure that appropriate safety protocols needed will be in place for the start of the season. The SJHL is optimistic that fans will be able to join us in our arenas. However, protocols like mandatory masking and social distancing still may need to be in effect. Remaining vigilant and following public health safety measures will help us get you back in our arenas. That's basically about it. So you guys, what should we take out of this?
They're working on it. Marty, like, I don't even know how to explain that, right? Like, they're working on it.
Yeah, that's right. I think kind of like, like we're kind of just thinking about there too, like maybe not a lot of new information, but I mean, you still like to be optimistic with things. And, I think if this last year has taught us anything, I mean, we're ready for hockey to get back here, and just get back in the rink. So, hopefully things work out and those steps are taken there, whatever it takes to get us back at the rink. I think that's what we're just waiting for here, chomping at the bit for.
At least we know all those NHL simulations will pay off. Hey, Matt.
Well, hey, like, if it means anything, if it helps just a little bit, then I'm glad I was a part of it, like, and there's just a few of those guys like playing in those, I would have gotten my ass whooped in this NHL 21, tournament, I guess is the best way to describe it. Like, I would have gotten my butt whooped into next week, but like, kind of cool, right? That's kind of neat.
Yeah, says the guy after the Mustangs won that one, whatever, a couple of years ago, hey?
Yep. Hey, after the Mustangs won the simulation last year, I would say they're defending champs. They've made the final back-to-back years.
That's right. And actually, that brings up a good point. We got together, I remember in the 2019 playoffs, I remember we met, and that was in the final, I think. And I just remember it was so much fun. I don't even remember who won that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember there, Matt?
I do remember. I remember it quite clearly.
Played the Mustangs. Either way, I should have my ring on right now.
Yeah. Friend of the podcast, Aaron Schultz, was doing color with me for Game 5 that the Stars took it all. So I remember that very clearly.
Yeah, that's right. Good times for all. That's right.
Hey, at least you guys were at the rink that night.
Yeah, even if you don't win an SJ final, it's still wild. Like, it sucks to lose because I've been on both sides of an SJ final. Man, it feels different, right? It just feels different.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, the energy is just incredible. And, in the Battlefords too, I mean, not to toot the horn here, the community I'm in, but they are just such a hockey community, and they love their North Stars. And of course, Melfort with their fan base as well. I mean, it just made for a great showdown. And, there were definitely some legendary players in that series.
Oh,
and,
man.
And just a bunch of guys that I know for both of us, I mean, we're going to remember the rest of our careers, probably, till we're 80 and telling our grandkids,
Yeah. We may have to one day on the pod do a draft of players that Matt and Marty have called games for and see whose team would be better.
There we go. Yeah. I'm liking the sounds of that. What do you guys think there, Avery? What, Brady?
Avery, you go.
I like it. I like the draft idea, especially since it's NFL draft week here. And I'm getting pumped for drafts.
Yeah, that series, like Justin Ball, Carson Albrecht on the Mustang side. They had Sean Parkinson and Noah Giesbrecht in net. Cale Tosh on the back end. Battlefords had the Loon Stewartsons, and they got Ben Hiltz at the deadline. And
that was just this past year. But yeah, yeah, we had Sinclair and Spencer on the back end, and the hometown boy Owen Lamb, Buziak, Mr.
Boozy.
Yeah, there we go. So. Yeah, Grzybowski in goal there, winning the playoff MVP, 950 save percentage. I mean, just an incredible run there. And again, not to just keep, going on this, but I mean, you look at that team, and I'm sure Melfort's a lot the same, but you saw so many of those guys. You bring up the Loon Stewartsons, you bring up, guy like Matthew Fletcher, Seth Summers on the back end. For Summers, that was his first year in the league for him as well. And then those guys came back that next year, and for the Stars, I mean, they had an even better season that next season. Obviously before the playoffs were cut short there, up 3-1 on Nipawin there in the playoffs. But boy, I mean, just an incredible kind of trajectory just to see those guys grow and develop on that run, and then take on those kind of primary alpha dog leadership roles, the following season, and just the team's continued success. So, I mean, that's what junior hockey's all about, I think.
I will say the next season, Sean Parkinson came out like a man on a mission. He should have won goaltender of the year, in my opinion. And I will, die on that hill because he was phenomenal for the Mustangs the next season. And hey, you say what you will, but like he was ridiculous. But that's a story for another day.
So some of the players that are on the teams for you guys, are some of them hanging around in town? Have you guys seen any of them recently?
No. I'm just trying to think on the roster who would have been like local. Not many. I don't think there were any on this year's team. Like a couple of them are from the area, but like haven't seen any of them. You talk to them once in a while, but haven't seen any of the locals really. A couple of them were gone to college. Like a few of the locals, for example, Nolan Katachuk, they won their conference championship there at Marion. So he's going to school in Wisconsin right now. Shout out, by the way, to Marion University. A bunch of former SJHLers and Saskatchewan boys there. So, yeah, I haven't seen any, to be honest with you.
That's right. Like here in the Battlefords, we were lucky. We had a few hometown guys. We had Jake Southgate, obviously, and Logan Spence, who just graduated out, obviously, his 20-year-old season cut short there, one of those guys. And, on the back end there as well. So it's just, we have some of those local guys, but again, most of the stuff talking to these guys, it's, talking to them about scholarship opportunities. And Marion University, that's, we got a guy who went there too, Mason Ritchie, and, doing some scholarship ones. I know, like those are always fun articles to do because you talk about guys kind of moving on to the next level there, taking their game, seeing what they can do, beyond junior hockey and where that next step might be. And and I think those are really fun ones. I know for the 20-year-olds, one thing we did up on Battlefords now, there was, I did kind of a Skype call with all the 20-year-olds, and then we put those on, and then it kind of bogged the site a little bit, because there's these longer interviews. But that was just fun. It's nice catching up with the guys and just seeing, how they're doing, I guess, throughout the off season and kind of what's ahead for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think we're going to kind of switch gears here and talk a little bit about the NHL, because we're all fans here, right? At least we watch a little bit of hockey. What are your guys' thoughts? I know, obviously, Matt, you run a podcast that talks solely about hockey.
For the most part,
yeah. What have your thoughts been on the season so far, and kind of this weird year where we're back and forth from COVID outbreaks to rescheduled games?
It's like any year, you have to be like adaptable, right? And teams just have to be ready on any given night to, have their game postponed. Like you just have to be prepared to be adaptable and move things around. And, there's no fans really for a lot of these teams. So like canceling and moving games isn't really that huge of a deal because there's nobody in the rinks anyway. But it's one of those things where you kind of, the league has done a really good job of like staying on time, I guess you could say. They left that like week right at the end of the season open so that if they needed to push games into that week, they could. And they've done that so far. And they're doing a pretty good job of it, I think. And for example, like in fantasy hockey, which I am a big proponent of, I love fantasy hockey. In the semifinals in my league, by the way, Keeper League, shout out.
Not a big deal.
Hey, there you go.
Just keeping track, not me, but that's what I hear.
So like you have to be prepared to like put guys on IR and drop guys who have COVID or something, right? Like you cannot grow to love some of your players because you might have to get rid of them on any given night. And yeah, it's one of those weird seasons where if you're going to be bad as a team, this is probably the year to do it. And just, you're not losing any revenue per se. And, the draft this year isn't great, but, a top end first round pick is a top end first round pick. So it's one of those years where it's kind of like an in-between kind of year where you kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt.
That's right. And let me just jump in and say, convenient to say this is the year to do bad from the Flyers fan, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's not a good look. Not a good look. So bad.
That's right. Yeah, and I got to say, as a Leafs guy myself, I really can't complain too much about the season. Tops in that North Division, and some people give the North Division a little bit of flack for having all those guys with the high point totals. But boy, those are some of the best games you'll see. You turn in one of those games, whether it's Winnipeg, Toronto, or Edmonton, Montreal, whatever. I guess not Montreal, right? Nobody wants to watch those guys. But either way, I mean, those are just some incredible games. And it's been really fun to watch this year. And I'm also a fantasy hockey player.
There you go.
Our fantasy hockey season has not started the playoffs yet.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is with that, but I think we have one more week and then we do it or something. So
I'm curious from your guys' perspective, I guess, when it comes to Canadian teams, I guess, how hard is it to kind of rank them, looking at them only playing each other? Like, they haven't played anyone south of the border. And then when it comes to playoff time and they do have to play those guys, how does it come to preparing for those guys?
Oh, it's like next to impossible because like this year you almost have to rank teams. And if you're doing like power rankings, you almost have to do it by division because they're not playing each other. Like it's so hard to like take teams as they are. So like, for example, Toronto is tops in the division, looking good, but they haven't played Tampa or Boston or Carolina, or, you go down the list of the teams that are also at the top of their division. So we don't know, which is going to make for the people on the betting websites probably very rich come, the Final Four, because they're going to have to, try and handicap some of these games. But like, it's going to be so hard because they haven't played each other all year.
Yeah. And I will say too, I mean, I think as much as you want to see some of these teams play other, top teams in other divisions, like, you also can't argue with every night. You got these insane divisional games and these rivalries going. And I mean, there's never a bad night. I mean, even if you got like a, Pittsburgh Buffalo on the one side, and you probably know how that one's going to go.
That's pretty bad. That's a bad one.
Yeah. On another channel, you might have, like Toronto, Winnipeg, or, whatever, or Vancouver, Ottawa, which would be another just snooze fest. Eh? But I mean, if you have some of them that are maybe not as great matchups, I mean, you look at others, and I mean, every night you got those rivalries going on. And I think, as far as it pertains to the playoffs, I mean, that's going to make for an even more heated playoff all around. I mean, if the postseason started today, it'd be nothing but rivalries. Like, you look in the north there, Toronto would be playing Montreal, which, I mean, when's the last time that happened? Incredible.
Oh, man.
And it would be the Jets and the Oilers, and that's incredible as well. You could have Washington playing the New York Islanders, like that's just, all the matchups. I mean, some of the best series might happen in those first two rounds, but either way, I mean, that's what you want to see, is those rivalries and those epic kind of clashes, whatever they might be.
And it's kind of developing new ones too, right? Like in those divisions that have had to be like sort of conglomerated together, like the hybrid divisions almost, where there's some East and some West, you're seeing like almost some new rivalries come to fruition, and it's kind of neat to see. You don't normally get to see those teams play each other.
I was going to say like Tampa Bay could play Dallas in the first round.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
Yeah, rematch of last year's Cup final, and they're playing each other in the first round. Yeah, that would be incredible. It would be incredible if Dallas even squeaks in with the way their season has gone. I mean, they were one of those first teams with the COVID problems, and I don't think they were a week and a half, I think, into the season before they played their first game. So, so now you look at kind of where they've come, and they're making a push. Like, you look at the New York Rangers in that East division, which I think heading into the year, I remember heading into the year, I made a joke with that East division. I was saying to some buddies, I said, man, oh man, if Buffalo and New Jersey can win a game, it'll be incredible. And then you look at last night, New Jersey lost their 10th straight without even, or it was their first in, I think, 10 or 12 where they got even a single point. And then nothing needs to be said about Buffalo's struggles this year. I mean, historic losing streak. So, I mean, it's just been incredible. And that's another thing about the North. People maybe say, oh, well, those Edmonton guys beating up on Ottawa and this and that.
Like,
well,
Ottawa's fighters.
Yeah. And even then, even if you say Ottawa's a weaker team, every other division has 2 or 3 weaker teams. And I thought, heading into the season, that North division, I mean, obviously Toronto's the creme de la creme, as they say. Nobody's arguing that. But I mean, it really is a crapshoot. And you look at even the top of the board there, those teams are only going to be separated by, 2, 4, 6, not even points heading into the playoffs here.
We should somehow find a way to do like a fantasy hockey playoff draft.
There you go. I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm just a little, I'm a degenerate. I'll do any sort of fantasy things,
You can never have too many drafts going on.
Exactly.
That's right. I know. You forget you set your lineup on one. You got 4 other teams going.
Oh,
come on.
Well, it'll give us something to do. Keep us busy somehow.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Keep us from going crazy.
Yeah, and what do you guys think about the award winners this year? What are you looking at for MVP, Vezina, Norris, that kind of thing?
There's a few of them that are like still up for grabs, but like, for example, I think the Calder is Kirill Kaprizov's to lose. Jason Robertson's kind of making a late push, but it's those two basically now. The Hart is kind of up for grabs still. It's probably Connor's to lose, Connor McDavid, but like, who knows, right? The Vezina is interesting. The Vezina might be the most intriguing trophy this year or winner, because you could have 4 guys who are worthy of that award this year. Like you look at Vasilevsky, Grubauer, you look at Fleury, and even Semyon Varlamov. Like that's 4 guys right there, right off the top of my head, who I'm like, they could all be A, nominees, and B, I wouldn't be surprised if either of them won.
Yeah, and just kind of going along with that, I mean, I agree that there's so much, high-end talent, and especially, I mean, this year you're seeing so many guys have real career years as well, and I'd agree that Kaprizov's the man. I have him in my fantasy.
Yes, yep.
I sniped him. That being said, I did also take Lafreniere there, which was the worst pick of the fantasy season. Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
I got Carter Hart.
I still like. Oh, that's right. Yeah, maybe that was the worst. No, Patrick Laine. But either way.
Travis Konechny too.
Hey,
thanks a lot.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, actually, he is probably the worst. Eh?
Yeah.
He likes the Flyers. No, but yeah, I mean, I'd agree. Kaprizov's the man. And you look at what he's done with that Minnesota Wild team, and I mean, he's the guy that drives the bus there offensively. Certainly, as far as the Hart, I think this is as tied up in a bow as it could, as it has been maybe the last 10 years plus, because McDavid, I mean, you look at the fact that, yeah, he maybe has to pick up his points per game a little bit, which seems crazy to say, but if he does that, he could still hit 100 points in a 50.
No, it's crazy.
Season. Like, this guy is so incredible. It's unbelievable. The fact that he is running away with things, 20 points over anybody but his teammate Draisaitl, and then the fact that Draisaitl's just doing it again, his third straight season where he would score 50 goals, 100-plus points if it was a full season. I mean, it's just incredible to watch, but I think McDavid runs away with it. He could sleepwalk through the rest of the season, and he'd get the Hart. I think Vasilevsky's got the Vezina, which will give him his second in his career, which would be incredible. And then, yeah, as far as Norris might be an interesting one, but even then, I think it's Hedman 100%, because, you look at guys like Adam Fox and, guys like that who are kind of coming in and building a resume. Hedman's got the name brand value, and, he is the best defenseman in the league. I mean, there's just no question really right now. And he's second in points, third in points. I think Carlson might be above him, but, either way, it's just, incredible looking around the league, and all the superstars are performing, and it'll be really fun to watch this year. I love how Tampa's still rolling the league, though.
Of course.
And they don't have Kucherov. I love how they win the cup last year without Stamkos, and they go, you know what? That was too easy. We're going to take Kucherov and throw him out for the whole season. We don't even need him. We'll rest him. You know what I mean? It's just incredible. So, I'd love to see, obviously I'm pulling for my boys in TO, but I'd love to see Tampa get that back-to-back, because they if they don't win another championship with their core, I mean, that would be unprecedented. They have to, they have to. They're so loaded.
Once we get to the Final Four, are they reseeded? Do you guys know?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because I was thinking about that, and I was like, if Toronto has to take on to Tampa Bay in the conference final, not good. Right,
It'd be
Marty?
entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
My dark horse, though, like, if anybody's going to unseed Tampa before the Final Four, it's Carolina. Carolina is scary, man. I'm telling you. 3 really good goaltenders. Their deep lines 1 through 3, even down to line 4. They've got a solid D-core. Dougie Hamilton's a stud. Like, that team is balanced, and they have tons of talent. If Svechnikov, kind of gets her going, Sebastian Aho's still there. Like, they've got some guys that can really push Tampa to the brink, I think.
So when it comes to the actual Stanley Cup, what are you guys thinking for this year? I know Marty is probably going to answer his team. I know me and Matt, we can't answer our teams. Mm-hmm. So what are you guys thinking?
Marty, you go first here because I think you might be going somewhere where I'm going here.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, I mean, obviously, like I was kind of saying, I mean, I'd love for Toronto to do it. I mean, that goes without saying. That'd be incredible. But as far as who I think is going to win it, I think it's Tampa Bay, and I think it's always easy to pick the defending champs because you go, well, they did it, just the most recent of anybody. But this Tampa Bay team, the reason why I said they have to win another championship is the same reason I said they'd win one last year and probably the year before, if I'm being honest. But you look at this core and you got, Kucherov's not playing right now, but over the last 5 years, he's the best winger in the league. It's not even close. It's indisputable. Victor Hedman, best defenseman in the league last 5 years. It's not even close. The last 5 he's been nominated for the Norris, or the last 4 of them, and he's won one. So it's not even close. Vasilevsky's got a Vezina. He's the front runner, or certainly one of. I'd say easily kind of the front runner for this year. So he's the best goalie. And over the last 5 years, he's got the best Vezina record. So you look, they got the best goalie in the league, they got the best winger in the league, and they got 2 arguable top 10 centers in Steven Stamkos, who, last year scored 90-plus points again, or the last full season, I should say. So, I mean, people like to say he's not who he used to be, but he's still a 90-plus point player. The guy played 2 minutes in the playoffs last year. He scored a goal. You know what I mean? Guy played 2 minutes. And then they got
goals per 60 looks great.
I know. That guy should have won the Smythe. You know what I mean? But, and then, I mean, you look at last year's playoffs. I mean, Hedman wins the Conn Smythe there, and he had 10 goals as a defenseman. And then you look at what he's doing again this year. I mean, best defenseman in the league by a mile, best goalie in the league by a mile, 2 top 10 centers. They got the best winger. I mean, you look at teams like Carolina, Toronto, whatever, they have really good cores. Tampa's better at every single position. And then you look at their pickup of Savard on the back end. It's just exactly what they did when they got McDonough, stole McDonough from New York. It's the exact same thing. And they make these splashes where, it's a splash, and Savard was a big name at the deadline, but he's also a guy who doesn't need the puck. He's a good guy who can go in there and play his game, and he doesn't even need touches because he's, but he can still jump in the play even though he's defense first. So, I mean, they're the deepest team. They have the most high-end skill. And then, historically, there's never been a team that has the best and the best and the best at every position and doesn't win multiple championships. I mean, it's just never been the case. So they're due for another one. And I think, why not this year? I mean, it's a given as far as I'm concerned.
Tampa. I like on the West, Colorado, man. I've been on the Colorado train since last year. I thought Colorado was going to win the cup last year. They ran into some goaltending problems where Michael Hutchison was starting games for them.
Leafs legend, huh?
Yeah, Mike. Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Like I was planning ahead.
Yeah, you look at Colorado, you look up front, you start with McKinnon, Landeskog, Grantanen as your kind of top 3 there. You could go down the list to guys like Kadri and whoever, but there's your 3. Then you go on the blue line, you've got Cale Makar, Sam Girard. Like, they're really good on the back end. And then you look in net, it's Phil Grubauer, who's solid, and I think one of the Vezina front runners. Their backup situation is a little. They got themselves Devin Dubnyk now, so it's not as bad as whoever the heck they were thrown out there before. But the goaltending has always been kind of their issue. But I think Grubauer is starting to silence some of those haters with his play this year. And if we see Tampa, Colorado in the final, buckle up.
How many games you say, Matt, if it's those 2?
7. Oh, 7.
And Martin?
There's only one answer. Not enough.
Not. Can we have a best of 9? We want a best of 9.
Yeah, that's right.
Best of 9 or we riot.
I'd be down with that for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome. I think that wraps up our hockey talk, though. I think we're going to kind of shift gears a little bit here. And Marty's smiling. He's been waiting for me to call on him. You know what? I'm sorry. You know what? Let's just do it. So this is a question we asked everyone online for questions to ask both Matt and Marty. We got absolutely 0 responses. But my wonderful girlfriend, Sage, asks, Marty, can you tell us a little bit about your first Valentine's Day in the Battlefords and what happened?
Oh, no.
On the airwaves in the Battlefords.
Let me think here. I think it was just a quiet night in, and I just went to bed at 8:30. That's what I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. But no, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, you want to talk about the most eligible bachelor or whatever it was. Well,
What?
I don't want to toot my own horn. I was the Battlefords bachelor, and and they auctioned off a Valentine's date for me. So they helped me out in that way. I ended up getting a free meal at Pennydale Junction, which I'll give a shout out to. I wrote him a note after. It was so incredible. I mean, expert service. They set the mood there. It was gorgeous in there. And tablecloth with the hearts and the whole deal. And and I got the, conductor's platter, because the station was paying. So we got the conductor's platter, and it was everything on the menu, basically. It was shrimp and chicken and, ham, and, like the whole thing was just everything. It was everything kind of, like I said, on the menu. And it was, like $90 or something, because it was just all this stuff. And then what we did, me and the lucky lady there who won the thrill of a lifetime, we split up the leftovers, which, let's be honest, was like 2 weeks worth of meals for each of us. And we boxed them up to go. And we said, all right, what a night. And then, and I'm still not buying groceries now because I've had so many leftovers. So
I feel like I don't have to ask any questions at this point. I feel like Matt's got some questions.
I have so many.
I've just been watching your reaction to this whole thing. And like, this was before you guys became a part of JPBG, I believe, something along those lines.
Probably.
So Matt, do you have a question?
I have so many. Okay. So first off, how did you get, I'm going to go one question at a time here. First off, how did you manage to get involved in this?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it goes without saying, if you turn on the TV and watch even 35 seconds of The Bachelor, you might think it's me. It's not me. I get that mistake all the time, especially season 6. I mean, that guy and me, I thought I was looking in the mirror for the first 45 minutes. It was incredible. And anyways, yeah. So, I mean, that kind of answers that question. And then the way it actually got set up was they had me go in, and then these
was it for like some fundraising event or something?
It was mostly just as something to do. And I got just kind of the tap on the shoulder, and I said, you know what, this is NB. Let's live it up. So did that, and that was that. And the rest, as they say, is history. Going down in the book of Valentine's Days to remember.
Okay, next question. How much did this lady pay to go on a date with you?
Yeah, she paid a lot. No, she didn't pay anything. No.
Because it was an auction, or it was like a contest, or like.
I mean, I don't want to offend anybody. And she was great, so I don't want to say too much about her. She might be embarrassed, but no, it was fun for me. And I mean, she was great, and we had a great time. And like I said, I mean, the meal was to die for, and I might just head back there here this coming weekend, because just reminded me, and that's a great steak dinner over there at Pennydale Junction.
I'm gonna jump in here quick, I guess.
Man,
Marty, I guess how many bids were put on? Do you know?
You know what? They said that even the computers couldn't count that high, and so I don't know, but that's just what the word of mouth has been. So
right,
I'm not exactly sure, but we'll put it in the high, that number. So.
Honestly, I'm kind of jealous. Like, I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah, well, a lot of people were jealous of her, and I don't blame them. You know what I mean? That's just part of the game. Again, cut that out, okay?
I'd love to go have a conductor's platter with Marty.
That's right. That
sounds like a ball.
I don't even like shrimp, so she got the whole thing. You know what I mean? Of that.
I'll eat all the shrimp. I'll eat all the shrimp. Right? We got this.
That's right.
So how did the radio show portion of this happen, Marty?
Yeah, this was what was it? I went into the one studio there with one of our DJs at the time, Samara, and I was just holding in a burp. That's why my voice was quaking. And anyways, I went in, and then we had these girls I called in. Well, one of them came in, and then the rest called in, and they just they called in, and then we did what was it, like the dating game, like that old like 80s game show where it's like you don't see them, and then they ask, or like I'd ask them each like 3 questions, and then they'd answer, right? I'd be like, if our love story was a movie, what would it be? And then, the girl's like, it would be Psycho. And I'm like, no, okay, no, I'm not taking you. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And so we had one girl come into the studio. We used a curtain so I couldn't see her. And then the other 2 were on the 2 phone lines. And then, did it that way. It was really, it was fun. And it was something I haven't thought about in a while, but I'm glad you brought it up. They're digging through the archives over here.
Man.
Well, I had
awesome.
the question before Sage even asked it. I was ready to pounce on this one today.
Waiting for that one. That's good stuff.
Anyone else have any questions for Marty?
I think that probably wraps it up.
I got all the clarifications I needed on that story.
There we go.
That is wild.
Well, Marty, thank you so much for sharing, at least, right?
Hey, always a good sport here. I don't know what to tell you.
And Matt, next month is your time. We're going to embarrass you somehow.
Do you have any stories? I don't know do you know any stories about me? I don't know. You may have to ask Aaron for a couple stories on me too. I was
planning to do that. Aaron keeps coming up in our podcast.
He does. You got to have him on some point.
He's got to become a friend of the pod because you called him a friend of the pod earlier.
I did.
And I got a little worried. I'm like,
okay.
Matt's doing our schedule.
More of an acquaintance of the pod, maybe, or
a friend of a friend of a friend.
A mutual friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
Assistant too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna get away from embarrassing Marty and head into our next segment. So this one we started on Saskatchewan Saturday night, which was our first video podcast. You can find it on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Anyways, we want to ask you guys our Ask Sask question.
Ooh.
So this week, our Ask Sask question was, which do you prefer? What major Saskatchewan city do you prefer? Is it Saskatoon or Regina? And with Marty being from Regina, I'm sure we know where his vote is going to go, but we're going to go with it anyways. What do you think, guys?
Matt, you want to start this one off, and then I'll come in with the hometown bias?
Well,
or what?
Yeah, I've got some thoughts on both. So I'm going to go, my answer to the question is going to be Saskatoon. I've had a lot of fun and some great memories in both cities. Saskatoon, I just think is just so beautiful. It's so fast growing. It's just very vibrant and loud and, hustle and bustle. Whereas Regina is a little bit more blue collar and, the industrial, the working class type of town. Not in a bad way by any means. I love both of them. I've had some great experiences in Regina. But
you experienced Regina?
Man. I've experienced some of the establishments in Regina, I guess. So I'm going to go with Saskatoon. It's a little bit closer to where I am, but both have their merits. That's for sure. There is no wrong answer here. I went with the PC answer there.
Yeah, I was going to say very eloquently said.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I would also agree that they certainly both have their moments. I'll say as a guy from Regina who went to broadcasting college in Saskatoon, which is what got me here, I guess, the old WABC. We all know it well. And certainly that's got to be the number one friend of the podcast here.
Don Scott's the ultimate friend of the podcast.
That's right. That's all here, eh? He's regretting it.
Except me.
He's regretting it right now. He's going, oh man, can't believe I passed those clowns, these guys. Come on. And I put myself in that as well. So, but yeah, I will say though, one thing that I find funny, and I bring this up sometimes, as someone from Regina, if you're in Regina and you bring up Saskatoon, everyone goes, oh yeah, we love Saskatoon. But if you're in Saskatoon and you bring up Regina, everyone goes, oh, those guys, ew. So Saskatoon seems to think they're a little bit, higher on the hog, I think. But that's where I went to my first Carrie Underwood concert and only Carrie Underwood concert. So it's got a soft spot there as well. But Regina will always be home. And I got to rep them, I guess, a little bit here and take them. And then it's an even split there as well. So it might be up to the hosts here, Avery and Brady there, to split the tie. So.
Well, I don't think I actually answered and I think I'm going to leave my answer till later. But Avery, you said Saskatoon as well.
Yeah, I went with Saskatoon. Yeah. I went with Saskatoon for one reason. I know how to drive in it, and I know where everything is. It's like Matt said. I live closest to it, so it makes more sense to me. Whenever I go to Regina, I seem to get lost occasionally, but I guess that's just with frequency of visits.
I'll tell you what, Regina, you get on the ring road and it's 100. Saskatoon on Circle Drive, it's 90. You're going,
some parts of it are 100 though, isn't it?
Passing you, but you don't want a speeding ticket. You know what I mean?
Circle Drive in Regina is like 90 for part of it, and then it's like 80, and then 60 at pieces, and 40.
It changes.
Like, it's wild.
It fluctuates.
And Ring Road is such a cool name. Come on.
They really thought long and hard about that one. Hey,
they did.
What do we call this road? I don't know. It's like it rings around our city. There you go. Ring Road done.
It's not even a ring. It's not a full ring.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up the Ask Sask segment for this episode. It's very hard to say Ask Sask, but like it writes cool and it sounds cool. So like we went with it, right, boys?
Yeah, exactly. We're broadcasters.
Has a ring to it, but
fight through.
Has a ring to it, but if you say it 3 times fast, you might have trouble.
Yeah. It's not easy. I did it last podcast though.
Yeah, you nailed it first try.
Not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
two in one episode. That should be a fine. So another thing I wanted to ask you guys, because we're all kind of in the same industry when it comes down to it. But can you guys talk a little bit about how weird it's been switching from being mainly sports reporters over to now news reporters with the pandemic? Because we had a little bit of news in the last 2 years. So how was that on both you guys?
Go ahead, Marty.
Let me take the hard-hitting one here. All right. Yeah, I'll lead it off. So, I mean, obviously, sports is number one for me. That's why I got into this job. I love doing it, especially the hockey, and so not having that has been tough. That said, I mean, it's always been like, at least for us, and I know like for Matt, I mean, it's going to be the same because we're, sister stations and everything, but like we already did a lot of stuff that wasn't sports as well. Sports was always kind of the main thing. That was number one. And we both like it that way.
Exactly.
But, exactly. But at the same time, it's not like we haven't been doing some other things. And especially during the off season, a lot of times that you'll maybe try and do some more sports stuff or think of, clever angles or just call up the guys, see how they're doing, or, do kind of retrospective pieces where you're looking back on, prior championships like 2019 or whatever, when the spring rolls around and you're, looking back at that 2019 championship, 2019 and the championship there and, championships. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, you're always doing some other things as well. And I do have to say, like, as far as doing community events and things, that can be nice and really rewarding as well, especially if you have kind of a feel-good story. And there are still some ways that you can talk about sports and things, which I think is fun as well. Even if the games maybe aren't being played, you can still talk to the athletes and connect with them and things. And especially with the hockey guys, like we were kind of saying earlier, it's always nice to catch up with those guys and see how they're doing. So that's kind of what I'd say. But even doing events and things, it's nice to dabble at some other things. But at the end of the day, sports is still kind of number one. And that's obviously, the funnest thing to do.
Yeah. Like I don't know if I've ever had so many phone calls with Marty in like a 3-month stretch. Like Marty and I have called each other on the newsroom lines so many times that like we've tied up the newsroom lines because a lot of like we collaborate so much these days.
It's been a great 3 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it is.
Yeah.
I am shocked that Angela didn't snag the phone before he answered, Marty.
Today she did.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'll tell you what, she's the quickest draw in the West and the North and the East and the South. And that's, that's where she does it. She's got to train me up and so I get better at it. But I'll never beat the best, okay? I'm fine with being LeBron. I'm no MJ, and I'll admit that, eh? Oh, the sports talk guy. I'm going to set your head on fire here. Let's go.
But yeah, like you try and find as many sports stories as you can. Whenever there's a sports story, I'm on it. Even if it's just a small one, commitments, local person doing this, whatever. Like any sort of sports stories, I'm all about it. So that's kind of nice. And, you know, like I did a story a few, like maybe 2 months ago on the last game before COVID kind of shut things down in the 2020 playoffs. So like that was kind of a cool story to do, but like it's a lot more news stuff. And at times it's really like at times you find it slow because like there's no hockey. So like normally in the winter, I'd be able to work ahead and write scripts for hockey that day or prepare for a game, you know, the next day or whatever. But like I don't have that now. So it's a lot of, you know, trying to dig up stuff more than I maybe have ever before. Yeah, a lot more news stuff. And I've called a lot of people over the last few months, and I don't want to say it sucks because it doesn't suck. I still love my job, but it just sucks that I'm not in a hockey rink and not writing stories. And I'll call up the head coach of the Mustangs, Trevor Blevins, and I'll be like, "Oh, Trevor, it's been a while since I talked to you." He's like, "Yeah, it's a good thing." He just jokes around with me saying, "It's like, yeah, I don't have to talk to you very much." But yeah, it's one of those things where if you find a sports story, I'm on it, right? Like I'm all over the sports stories if there is some, more than probably I would have been in past hockey seasons.
Yeah,
I guess,
actually,
go ahead, Marty.
I was just going to jump in there. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just going to say, yeah, like, you know, I'm always kind of trying to think, you know, how can we take a silver lining out of this, or what is a silver lining in kind of a given situation? And I think Matt just hit the nail right on the head. I mean, you know, in the past, it's been, you know, it's funny. The funny thing about what we do in the sports, and especially with such an emphasis on the hockey teams, and like the junior team comes first, obviously, and whatever, and then those other teams, it's like so often, like in years past, it's been like, oh man, every team's going. You're trying to kind of dabble on the other teams, but then you're out of town and maybe you got 2 games on the road and whatever, and then you're like, oh man, and now I got to write up that thing that happened on the weekend here on a Tuesday or whatever, and it can get kind of swamped.
The AAA team did a big thing, and yeah,
that's right, and you don't want to miss it, but it's like you're kind of running like a chicken with your head cut off sometimes. But I think you know what this has kind of done here, if you do try and look at kind of the glass half full of everything and the optimistic side, is like it is nice now to even do some of the other sports things and some of the other stories that maybe before would get a little bit buried just because, you know, you only have so much time. And now we have kind of an opportunity to explore some of those things a little bit more. And those ones, I mean, yeah, again, like you get anything sports now, it's like, oh man, let me sink my teeth into this guy. Let me take this simple signing and make it into this full-fledged feature on this guy and talk about when he got into the sport and when he, you know, and whatever. And then, you know, sometimes you find some interesting things too, like outside the box of what you might think, you know, as a sports reporter. Like for instance, you know, bull riding. We got a couple of guys here in town that do it, and one guy got a scholarship down there to Texas. And you know what I mean? You're doing those things, and those are some of the funnest articles. You're doing those things and connecting with some of those, you know, different guys and whatever. And it's just an opportunity to do a bit more of that too as well.
So when it comes to the play-by-play, obviously you guys put in a lot of off-the-record hours. I guess give the listeners an idea of what goes into that, and obviously what was it like just not having any of that anymore in terms as to your workload?
Honestly, preparation is like my favorite thing. Like there's nights I'll stay up till 1 a.m. making sure I'm prepped for tomorrow's game, and then do even more prep the next day. And I love that, right? Because I just soak all that in and find all these little tidbits on guys and whatever it may be. I love that stuff. And I love finding, on day games in this, like this team does this, and just weird stats. I love finding that stuff. So nowadays, like I'm just kind of sitting around, you know, I look back at past seasons and be like, this guy's kind of cool. And you look back at other stats from different players, or what I've done sometimes is I look back at draft classes, especially in the SJHL, since the SJHL draft started in 2015, I believe. You look back at some draft classes and be like, how did this team draft and where are they now, kind of thing. Like maybe I wouldn't have done that. Maybe I would have done that if there was hockey, but yeah, it's kind of neat to just kind of really dive into the rabbit hole sometimes.
Matt's just kicking back there. I wonder how they'd simulate.
Yeah, exactly. You try and figure what would their overall be? What would their overall be in NHL 21?
Yeah.
You know, how would they fit into my franchise mode?
That's
Big
right.
franchise mode guy in NHL 21. Be a GM.
Yeah, that's where it's at for sure. Yeah, I mean, definitely. You know, as far as the preparation and everything, like Avery, you're talking about kind of hours, outside of just the games themselves. And, I couldn't agree more. I mean, those might be hours, but they're fun hours, and sounds cliche, and it is, kind of corny sounding, but if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And unfortunately, there's not hockey games every day, but I mean, certainly when they're on, now without hockey, it's never been less fun to have a weekend off. You know what I'm saying? Like you like going out there and getting on the bus and doing things that, like for us too, like, writing pregame, postgame articles, like up on Battlefords now. For every game, we got the pregame, we got the postgame and everything. And, just getting on the bus there. I remember you get on the bus and you're typing, the pregame, whatever. And then you get the 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours, wherever you're going. Then you get out there, you do the game. And then you get off the game there, go back out to the car after wrapping up your show on the bus again. And you're sitting down, and all the guys there are watching a movie, they're eating pizza, they're playing cards, or they're sleeping, and typing away there, check, 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 check. But that's the fun stuff, and it's fun to do, and it's enjoyable to talk about the game, and that's whether it's doing the game itself, and again, even before the game, couple hours prep work. I'll tell you what, we get to the rink in a regular year, not a COVID year, but a regular year, 2 hours ahead of time there. That's just kind of the standard, I think.
Love it.
And yeah, it's amazing how fast that 2 hours goes. By the time you sit down, you pull out the laptop, you're going through stats and different things and getting kind of your pregame prepped and whatever. I mean, that 2 hours is gone in the blink of an eye, and you go, wow, and then before you know it, you might have 2 games in a weekend or 3 games in a weekend in the odd weekend. And then you come home and you go, all right, let's look ahead to next weekend, so not having that has been a little bit, it's just obviously something that we miss doing and whatever, and for myself as well. But at the same time, I think it's only going to make it sweeter when we do get back there because, but I do think, just kind of going back to an earlier question as well, I think it's helped as well. One thing is it's made us do more with the players kind of away from the rink, I think, because the guys just aren't at the rink, and so now when you're calling guys and you're intentionally saying, hey, can I give you a call here today, tomorrow, whatever, to talk about this commitment or talk about your time with the Stars. Like you're making meaningful connections away from the rink on more of a personal one-on-one basis. And I think those are, those relationships, that networking is only, doing you good and doing them good. And it's fun as well. So that's what I'd say to that.
Yeah. And like you said, Marty, like there's not hockey every day, but you're preparing for hockey almost every day, right? Whether it be mental, like, whether it be actually preparing stats or your pregame rosters or whatever, or you're doing an interview and you're writing a story, or you're even just like seeing somebody else, you're seeing what the other team did and you're kind of looking at their elite prospects or looking at their stats for the season, or you're even at the rink watching a game. Because Marty, I know you do the home games. We don't. So if I'm at, a Tuesday night in Melfort and the Mustangs are playing, you can bet your patootie I'm going to be there watching the
bottom dollar.
Yeah, I'm watching that game, whether I'm doing the PA announcing or the music or just standing on the bridge. I'll be there watching that game and in the end doing a story, right? So like you're always in the hockey mindset.
And in Marty's 2 hour allotted time frame there, he's also got to put some time aside for the fans, get the autographs going, right?
I don't sign autographs, but I have to kind of talk to fans sometimes too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once in a while. I'm not as famous as Marty though.
Well, sometimes the pen runs out of ink and I got to make up an excuse, but no, I mean,
you got to use a Sharpie.
Tell them to bring their own markers, guy.
I know. I'm telling you. No, I mean, I know, that's a joke and everything, but man, I'll tell you what, it is something to be in that atmosphere when the crowd's there and things are rolling. But again, I mean, we take the hockey even without, full attendance now. I mean, anything would be fun, but when the attendance is there and the building's bumping and we got Neil pumping up the tunes there, there's just no place like it. And boy, it's a fun atmosphere to be in there, on game night. So,
yeah.
Neil Gamble, everyone. So I think we're going to transition. Do you have any other questions, Avery? Because no, you're good?
I think I'm good. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I think I'm good, but I want to transition into this game that we were talking about beforehand.
Yes.
So, yeah. So this is kind of derived from, what was it, 2 weeks ago or a week ago? We did the Saskatchewan Roughriders playing card kind of game with me and Avery. But now we want to kind of switch things around. So Marty and I used to work together. So when you work together with someone, you kind of start catching those little things that they do. I'm sure Matt with Aaron. I'm sure Avery with Callum. But when it comes down to it, Marty and I worked about from me to the wall away. Now we're a video podcast, so people can actually see how far away me and Marty worked. One thing I always noticed with Marty was he was very big on birthdays.
What?
So he's just nervously laughing. I was getting ready for you to talk, Marty. Are you good with birthdays? Or is that a thing?
I remember my own birthday, and I'll celebrate someone else's. I always do try and make a big deal when it's their birthday.
You used to be the best because it was like full on 20 Timbits on your birthday that morning. You knew it. And like your favorite drink was coming. And if it wasn't your favorite drink, it was your new favorite drink.
No, it was always my favorite drink. Then if they didn't want it, I'd have it.
I guess that works, right?
That's a smart businessman right there.
No, the chocolate espresso, everybody likes that. So it's never an issue.
Well, I'm just trying to get set up here. Sorry about that. Got to actually pick up the cards and move some things around. But in this game, so we talked a little bit about the hockey card and the also football card collection I've accumulated over the years. But when it comes to Marty, he was very good when it came to like actual hockey stars' birthdays too. Like I'd sit down and that would be one thing you just bring up randomly. You're like, oh yeah, it's Bobby Orr's birthday today. Okay. but we want to see if this skill translates to this new game. So I've picked out, I'm not going to count these, but I think there are about 10 hockey cards of just random players. I tried to make it really easy on you at turns and then also very hard. And then also one that you're going to have to dig back in your Toronto Maple Leafs memory bank for.
Oh boy. Okay.
So it was one of the beauties they had back in like, the Sunbeam
This is
era.
either going to go really well or really bad.
If it goes really bad though, let's just put a disclaimer that this is getting caught.
That's what we said last time, and it was so bad it was good.
Okay.
I think at least.
And by the way, I got to throw it in. I didn't want to interrupt, and I was also scared. What if I get it wrong? But you said Bobby Orr's birthday, March 20th, 1948. Let's go.
See, Marty, you're warmed up. You're ready to roll.
Here we go.
Wow. I would have never gotten that in a million years.
I told you guys, like
Should we default to Matt just in case Marty does get it wrong and see if Matt can get it anyway?
Yeah.
Oh, Matt. Like it's the most random thing to remember about a person, but I love that you're so wholesome that you do that, Marty.
Yeah.
It's my birthday. When's my birthday? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's September. August. Yeah, it's August. What is it? August 26th, isn't it?
No. You were close though.
August 27th.
No. August 10th. Mark it in your calendar. You're 0 for 1.
I get Bobby Orr's right, and I don't get the legend B. Lang. Come on.
But we're gonna transition and we're gonna play this, okay?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
we got the first card here.
Okay.
It is. I don't think you guys can read it. It's Jonathan Taves. This audio or the video format is really working well early on.
There you go.
Okay.
We got Jonathan Taves. What do you got, Marty?
April 29th, 1988.
No way.
My God, I have no idea. I picked the one pack of cards that doesn't have the birthday on the bottom. Everyone else, every other card does.
Okay, somebody fact check me there.
Here, I got it.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, I said
Jonathan Taves.
April 29th, 1988.
My God, he got it.
You got it right.
Okay, 1 for 1. I like it. I like the enthusiasm. Nicholas Lidstrom.
Oh, let me think on this one here.
You only got 12 months to choose from here.
December 28th, 1970.
I didn't plan this out. It was April 28th.
You got the year right though, Marty.
Oh, did I? Oh, did I get it wrong? Oh, shoot.
But they're the same birthday, aren't they? April 28th?
No, 29th.
29th.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
What
it was a
day off?
Yeah.
Like 2 days. All right. So you're 1 for 2.
Okay, shoot. Rats. Okay.
All right. Are you doing this? Because I'm pretty sure none of these have birthdays, Avery.
Yeah, I got
You got it?
I got it. Yeah, I think Maddie might be looking them up too in the background.
Just
So
wait
here,
till
I
you get a name
You know
you
what?
have no idea how to spell, because
You know
there's
what?
definitely 3 in here.
There will be a few of those, I bet.
Yeah.
I
I'm
hope
not gonna
Google-
lie. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got him mixed up. I said Ray Bork's birthday instead because he's the 28th of December, and so yeah, that's why I screwed up
That's on it.
because they're both the
What? Okay, I need to look this up just to be safe on the Ray Bork one. That he's not
1960
throwing.
though. He's 1960 though birthday. So
December 28th. Yeah, Ray Bork's December 28th.
See, I
yeah.
told you.
See, so I knew
told you
because
guys.
they're both 28th and then the 10 years apart, and so I messed that up. The nerves, man. I told you. I don't know if I can.
Holy
deliver.
crap.
This one is for Matt as well. It's to make you feel a little bit bad today.
Oh, man.
Jeff Carter as a Philadelphia Flyer.
Just trying to think how old he is right now.
Well, he's an
Well, help me with the
85.
year.
He's
He's
an
an
85.
85.
Yeah, you're right about that.
But
Okay.
you know what? I don't even know what his.
I'm going to
would
throw a
be.
guess here. September 14th.
No.
No?
No.
Okay. I don't know, man.
I don't know. I don't know what he is. I just know 85, but I'm not sure what he is.
Okay.
I only know 60 of them. So.
Okay. January 1st.
New Year's Day.
Oh, is he? Oh, shoot.
How nice.
That he's got the same birthday as January 1st there, Hornquist, Patrick Hornquist.
See,
New Year's baby.
do we have to even fact
Brady,
check
you gave
Marty?
him the wrong ones.
And-
Like he just
and-
like
and-
he just
and
grabbed
Cor-
another.
And Corey Crawford's the day before. He's December 31st of 84. Yeah, which is just an interesting fact. And then Bobby Hull is January 3rd of 39. And Nico Heischer is January 4th of 99. You know, and then
I mean, I can tell you who I share a birthday with. Different year, but I can tell you who I share a birthday with in the NHL. Yanni Gord of the Tampa Bay Lightning. So different year, but
it's a good one to have. Hey, you know who I share a birthday with? Tim McGraw.
Oh, hey,
Hey, you
better
know who
than
I-
mine.
You know who I actually share an exact birth date with, though? William Nylander, May 1st, 96.
Oh, really
Nice.
nigh the scoring guy.
And what's funny is William Nylander's a May 1st, David Backus is a May 1st, Jacob Slavin is a May 1st. There's a lot of
There was that one thing on Twitter like a while ago where it was like build a team with guys who were born the same day as you. It's like Marty's team's a superstar team right here, and mine's got Yanni Gord leading the way.
yeah.
We're gonna go to the next one. You are now 1 for 3.
Sure.
The man, the myth, the legend, Ilya Brizgalov.
Oh boy. I think
World saw humongous big.
yeah.
Avery's like, how do I spell it?
Yeah. What is
Got it.
What
Okay.
else?
You
what
got
else
it. Okay,
is
good.
it?
I Google ain't autofilling that for me on the search bar, that's for sure.
Hey, Brees Gallup. Why you have to be mad? Why you have to be mad? It's this game. Maybe the best Brees Gallup moment is when they were playing the Winter Classic, and then who was it at the time? Laviolette said, "Oh, I'm not saying who my starter is." And then the press goes to Brees Gallup, and he's like, "I'm gonna have my cup of cocoa ready for me." And he says he's on the bench.
He's like, I have good news and the bad news.
Yeah.
Good news, we're going to have chance to win. Bad news is I'm not playing.
Wasn't he the savior too, Matt?
Well, we signed him to some massive deal, and I think
Yeah,
he might
9 years, 51 mil. I think
He
it
might
was.
still be on the
If I'm not
books.
mistaken.
Maybe he's just off the books. I don't remember exactly, but it's
Yeah, I guess he would have been just off then or whatever because, or was he bought out? He was bought out. I guess
He was bought
He'd
out.
Still, yeah,
he
he'd
might have
still
been a
be rolling.
compliance buyout though,
Oh, okay, yeah.
so he may have not actually cost anything. But what's his birthday?
I don't know. I don't know.
Ah.
Is it January something? Don't tell me. Is it January something?
No,
Okay, I don't know.
June 22nd,
June
1980.
22nd. No, that's too obscure for me.
So we're down to 4. So basically you can lose one of them, Marty.
No, I can't.
I know you know 2 of them, at least. And if you don't know 2 of them, I'll be shocked.
Sure.
The best hockey player ever to lace up the skates, it's Jerome McGinley. Marty?
Oh,
St. Albert, Alberta.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what is he? Oh, if I screw this up.
Oh, you should know this one.
It's so easy.
It's really easy.
Yeah.
July 1st.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
We kind of walked you into that one a little bit.
It's a date on the NHL calendar, like a date, you know?
Yeah. Free agency. Yeah.
Payday. Great birthday. So this
Stat
next
holiday,
one,
no matter where it falls in the week.
yeah.
Hey, there we go.
This next one actually has the birth date on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a
there
total
we go.
crapshoot. We still have 3 cards left.
Oh,
Doug Gilmour. Nice.
Boy.
Nice one right here.
It's an old card.
I'm not gonna know. Is he a March something?
June 25th.
Don't know. No.
Thought you'd know that one because like the Leafs and, being obsessed with them.
I don't know what to tell you. Letting some people down.
You're going to get this, like the last one, and it's so bizarre, but I feel
Okay.
like you'll just know it because it's weird Leafs fandom. Evgeny Nabokov is the next one. Very random, but also up your alley because that was kind of the era that we grew up in, right?
Oh man, I do like Nabokov, but I don't know at all. See you December.
No.
I
Anyone?
don't know.
March
The ones
11th.
with the no birthday.
Oh, it's a
'cause
no birthday. Okay.
March
Great
11th.
podcast host.
March 11th, 1787.
Yeah, we're cutting that whole segment.
You think so?
Ah!
We'll see. We'll see how you
July
do on this last
25th,
one.
yeah.
We'll see how you
Okay.
do on this last one. It's
Wait,
so
did you say
bizarre.
July 25th? That's
Yeah.
that's
March 11th.
Vasilevsky. That's Vasilevsky and Dumba is July 25th.
See, even this is better. Like just
Of 94, yeah.
the kind of
We're just getting the motor running up. there.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
hamster's
Well-
just getting warmed up here.
Like,
See, like Marty, this is proving your knowledge of every other player that we're not listing here. Like
It's just-
you've got a
listen,
memory bank.
Well, it seems like what I did was I started doing where I memorized every cup winner ever. And then I went on to Conn Smythe, and then I went on to Hart, and then Art Ross. But then the problem is when you don't practice it a long time, you start to fade a little bit. And so sometimes I'll answer something wrong and I'll be like, oh, I should have known, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that just
1973 Hart Trophy. Go.
1973 Hart Trophy. That's Bobby Orr. Sorry, no, 70, 71, and 72 are Bobby Orr. 73 was Bobby Clark's first one, his first of 3.
Are you reading off of something or are you thinking?
No, I was looking at my water bottle.
Oh, he even showed us.
But
Nice.
yeah. So
It
I can
was
just
Bobby
run through
Clark.
some if you want. Do you want me to
Flyers
just run-
legend Bobby Clark.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Do you want me to just run through some? We don't have to keep this in.
Yeah, go.
Okay, well, I'll randomly start at
Started in 1980. That's a good year. That's a good starting point.
I'll tell you what, I'll randomly start at 1960. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
Sure.
60, Gordie Howe. 61, Boom Boom Geoffrion, Bernie Geoffrion. 62 was Jacques Plante. 63 is Gordie Howe, his last one. 64 is Jean Beliveau, because then the next year he wins the first ever Conn Smythe. 64 is Bobby Hull's first. 65 is Bobby Hull's second. 66 is Stan Mikita. 67 is Stan Mikita. 68 is shoot, did I screw that up? 65. Hold on.
What
See,
in the
no, I'm doing
world?
this thing now where I screwed it up. I got too overconfident.
I
Hold
haven't
on.
practiced
Hold on.
enough.
Hold on.
Still, you got 8 years out of it.
Hold on. 60 is Howe. 61 is Geoffrion. 62 is Plante. 63 is Howe. 64 is Beliveau. 65 is Hull. 66 is Hull. 67 is Mikita. 68 is Mikita. 69 is Phil Esposito's first. Then 70 is Orr, 71, Orr 72, Orr 73, Bobby Clark 74 is Phil Esposito's second. 75 is Bobby Clark, beating Bobby Orr, even though Bobby Orr won the second Art Ross of his career. Only the second time it's ever been done by a defenseman. He lost it to Bobby Clark. And then 76 is Bobby Clark, his third of the decade, his third of his career. 77 is Guy Lafleur. 78 is Guy Lafleur. 79 is Brian Trottier. And then 80, this 80s is the easiest decade. It's Wayne Gretzky because it's almost. So it's 80 Gretzky, 81 Gretzky, 82 Gretzky, 83 Gretzky, 84 Gretzky, 85 Gretzky, 86 Gretzky, 87 Gretzky, 88 Lemieux, 89 Gretzky, his first on the Kings and only on the Kings. 90 Mark Messier with his first of 2 and 2 and 3 years because it's 90 Messier, 91 Brett Hull, 92 Messier, 93 was why am I blanking now? Oh, Lemieux, obviously his second of 3. 94 is Fedorov, even though Gretzky beat him by 10 points, didn't get a single Hart vote that year. He won the Art Ross by 10 points, his 10th and final of his career. 95 was Eric Lindros. He and Yager tied for the scoring lead in the league in that 95 shortened season, and Yager won the scoring title, so Lindros won the Hart. And then 96 is Lemieux with his third and final. And then 97 is Hasek, 98 is Hasek, 99 is Yager's, his only one Hart, even though he won 5 Rosses. And then 2000 is Chris Pronger, obviously first defenseman since Orr to do it. 2001 is Joe Sakic. 2002 is Jose Theodore. 2003 is Peter Forsberg. 2004 is Marty St. Louis. 2005 is the lockout. 2006, Joe Thornton. 2007, Sidney Crosby. 2008, Ovechkin. 2009, Ovechkin. 2010, Henrik Sedin. 2011, Corey Perry. 2012 was, why am I not? Come on. 2012, Evgeny Malkin. Malkin. It was his second scoring title, and in 09, he lost to Ovechkin. So 12 is Malkin. 13 is Ovechkin in the shortened season. He scored 32 goals in that 48-game season. And then 14 was Crosby with his second of his 2. 15 was Carey Price, first goalie since Theodore in 2002. 2016 was Kane with his unreal season. I got him in fantasy this year, another unreal season. Not going to win the Hart, though. Might be a nominee.
Not a big deal.
2017, yeah, flex there. Kane on my fantasy team. But and then 2017 is McDavid with his first. 2018 is Kucherov. 2019. No, hold on. Oh, why am I messing up on the most recent ones? Jeepers creepers. Sorry, 2017, McDavid. 2018, Hall. He's an easy one to forget because he sucks. Now he's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
That's mean. But 2019 is Kucherov. 2020 is Draisaitl. 2021 this year will be McDavid in a landslide. So
nailed it, Marty. I had a list on
go.
my laptop here, and you aced every single one.
And so now that was starting at 1960. Now we'll go backwards from 60
Oh, my goodness.
to 1924 when the first one was awarded. Now we'll go through and we'll do playoff MVPs. That's only from 65 on. I got to prove I can do it at this point.
Just go.
Broadcast. So
Go hard. I'll put my mic down.
60 was House, so now 59 was Andy Bathgate. 58 was 58 was shoot. Who the heck was that in 58 now? What can I think of that? Shoot, I'm really not looking good here. 58 was Howe as well. And 57, 50, I might have to go back to starting at the 50s. 50 was, you know what? Maybe we won't do the older ones. I can't remember them, to be honest. I can't even remember them.
That's fine. Holy hell.
Unreal. I had the Wikipedia list, and it was just like bam, 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 bam.
Okay, I'll do MVPs quick. Do you want me to do them quick so I can just do all those 65 on? Or no? We don't have to. We can.
It's up around out of breath going through all that.
No, I'll just do them quick. Okay, 65. First ever Conn Smythe, that was Jean Beliveau. 66 was Roger Crozier of the Wings in the losing effort. 67 was Dave Keon, the only Leaf to ever win because they've only won one cup since the Conn Smythe came in, and I'm a Leaf fan. I'm bringing that up. It doesn't matter. So Dave Keon. 68 was Glenn Hall in the losing effort for St. Louis as Montreal.
Humboldt's favorite son.
There you go. 69 was Serge Savard. 70 was Bobby Orr. 71, Ken Dryden before his even official rookie season. 72 was Bobby Orr. 73, playoff MVP was Yvonne Cournoyer. 74 was Perron. 75 was Perron on the 2 Philly wins. 76 was Reggie Leach, the only forward to win in the losing effort. And he did it for the Flyers. They lost to Montreal again. 77 was Guy Lafleur, and 78 was Larry Robinson. 79 was Bob Gainey, and 80 was Brian Trottier. And then, because Trottier did what Beliveau did in 64 and 65, where he won the regular season MVP, and then the next year won the playoff MVP. And then Trottier did the same thing, regular season 79, playoff in 80. And then 80, like I said, was Trottier. And then 81, Conn Smythe was Billy Smith. Sorry, no, Butch Goring. 82 was Billy Smith. 83 was Mike Bossy. Denny Potvin didn't get one. And then 84 was Mark Messier, who actually won one before Gretz did in their dynasty years. Then 85 was Gretz. 86 was a rookie, Patrick Waugh. 87 was not Gretzky. It was in a losing effort. Another Flyer, Ron Hextall. Then 88 was Gretzky with his second. He only won two. And then 89 was Al McInnes for Calgary, and they won championship. And then 90 was not Mark Messier. It was Bill Ranford for the Oilers, and their one win without Gretzky. Then 91 was Lemieux. 92 was Lemieux. 93 was Waugh again, his second. He gets three. He's the only guy with three. His third one comes in 2001. And then 94 was Brian Leach. Again, not Messier, even though he made that Game 6 guarantee in the East final there, Game 6 against New Jersey. He didn't win the Smythe that year, and he didn't win it in 90 when he captained the Oilers without Gretzky. He won in 84. So that's kind of funny, the year you'd least expect him to, he wins the playoff MVP. But anyways, Leach is 94. 95 is Claude Lemieux for the Devils in their first of three in their franchise history. 96 is Joe Sakic with his playoff MVP. 97 is Mike Vernon. 98 is Steve Yzerman in Detroit, second of their back-to-backs. And then 99 is Joe Nieuwendyk for Dallas.
Some odd reason that's a name for you.
I know. What a brutal. Anyways, 2000, Scott Stevens at 35, and then the next year it's another 35-year-old in 2001. Patrick Waugh with his third, like I said, only guy ever with three. And then 2002 was Nick Lidstrom with his playoff MVP. 2003 was New Jersey again, but in the losing effort, J.S. Jaguar won for the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. And then 2004 was Brad Richards, and then 2005 lockout. 2006 was Cam Ward. 2007 was Scott Niedermayer. 2008 Zetterberg. 2009 Malkin. 2010 was Taves. 2011 was Tim Thomas. 2012 was Jonathan Quick. 2013 was Patrick Kane. 2014 Justin Williams. 2015 was Duncan Keith. 2016 was Sidney Crosby. 2017 Crosby. 2018 Ovechkin. 2019 was O'Reilly. 2020 was Hedman, and then 2021 might be Hedman again, might be Braden Point, might be Kucherov. After no season in the regular season, it might be him. So we'll see what happens.
Might also be Mikko Rantanen or someone like that, or McKinnon.
There we go.
Are we not
right, Brady?
Are we not still shocked though that Marty can do that?
Blown away.
I hope you go viral when I post this.
Okay.
I'm clipping
That'd
this
be pretty
for
cool,
sure.
though. That would be pretty neat.
We do have to clip that. There's no way we can't.
No, you know what though? It's all fun and whatever, but I can't help. I get a little crazy with it, but just throwing in additional info, which is, I shouldn't have done that, but whatever.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Marty, because that's unreal.
That was
That's
so
something
awesome.
no one can really. Well, people can obviously because you did, but that's not something normal people can do. That's a skill, man.
Well, I used to say if I can memorize every award winner, which again, some of them, are different. Like the Norris didn't come in until 54. So I could do the Norris ones, but it's because that doesn't start until, later. Like I said, I got to, brush up on those first few decades from 1924 on, but I always thought if I could memorize every award winner, or certainly major award winner, start with the major awards and then go on to the secondary ones, whatever, like the Lady Bing, who cares?
Jack Adams or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, who cares, dude? You know what I mean? But I always thought to myself, if I could memorize all those, then what I wanted to do was go down to the Hall of Fame in Toronto and just walk in there and be like, hey, can I have a job? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
definitely could.
But
they might call.
that was just what I always kind of thought when I was, younger or whatever doing that. So
I'm still blown away. Like, you always talked about being able to do it, but I never actually tested you. I never called you on it. I was like, cool, Marty, sure.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we all learned a lot about each other tonight. This was great.
Yeah, we learned a lot.
And wait till next month.
I don't know if this is Marty. Are you a golfer at all?
Dude, I am so brutal at golf. Okay. I shouldn't say that. I'm not. I just never practiced, so I'm not a great golfer.
Marty, you and I are in the exact same boat.
Okay, well,
good. I can't be the only one here.
All my balls end up in the bush or the pond or the sand, whichever ones.
You know what I'm good at though is mini golf. And in Saskatoon, there you guys got the Market Mall. You know what? I picked Regina. I almost got to go with Saskatoon because the Market Mall course right in the middle of the mall there. That's incredible. They got a water trap with fish in it. It's something.
Yeah.
Didn't we do that for like our grad or something, Avery? Like we went there to mini golf.
Yeah, we went mini golfing, I think, at the back end of the year at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, just something random. But yeah, the Market Mall mini golf is great. We should try and do a circuit of the mini golf in Saskatoon at some point, because that would be hilarious.
Make it a podcast of it.
Yeah, just going through, because they got the glow in the dark up in the north end too, right? By the Costco, I believe, where it was there. So we could really make a day out of it.
Let's do all the mini golf courses in Saskatoon.
But Matt, why were you asking?
Well, I'm trying to. I love golfing. I don't know how good I am. Like, depends what you call good. Like, golf is such a hard sport. People are like, oh, I'm brutal, and they go out there and shoot low 90s.
That's me. Yeah, that's me.
Like, actually, if it is, then like we're golden. Because I think Brady has some ideas for stuff later.
Yeah. Should we just say it? Like,
well, we can kind of like tease it.
Weeks. I think.
Sorry, I kind of took over there for a second. You know,
it's okay. We're all a team here. We also still don't have a name, by the way. We still need a name. That's all I'll say. Yeah. But anyways, back to golf. We were thinking, and I'll just say it. How would you, as a listener, feel if we did a whole podcast from a golf course?
Yep.
And you can tell us which golf course it is too.
They can't tell us to go to a golf course.
Well, maybe they want us to try one out.
Yeah.
If any, managers for golf courses are listening, Lang LeBlanc at gmail.com. My finger slipped off the mute button.
I know. What
Lang LeBlanc live at gmail.com. Sorry, guys. God, it's been a day.
Yeah, holy.
But yeah, we've been thinking about this idea for a while. And I think it would be really cool to do a podcast fully from a Saskatchewan golf course, right?
Yep. Yeah, like that'd be so much fun. Or do like, we could have a little competition with us or like whatever you want to do. Like I'll go play golf and talk whatever with you guys on the golf course like that. I think that'd be fun.
That'd be hilarious. That'd be awesome.
I think it has to happen. So
how much would we have to cut out though, boys? How much would we have to cut out though, boys? Avery cursing about his ball going in. I'm out of balls. They're all in the bush.
We just have to put a disclaimer at the top, and then I think we'll be okay. As long as you don't get too rough. Like, don't get rank, Avery.
No, that's not the plan.
Yeah.
Nice little sound of like, foo, 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 foo. It's just Avery's golf club gone.
Deep bunker. It's just helicoptering out of the bunker. Hey.
Yeah.
Well, Avery, do you have any other questions for the guys?
No, I think we had a good run with these guys again for take 2, and can't wait for take 3.
Yeah, it'll happen in a month, hopefully, when we can embarrass Matt this time.
Oh.
Do you guys have any questions around the round table? Because that's basically how we did this interview / podcast today, which I really liked, by the way. Any questions, guys?
Good. No.
From us to you mean?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. Well, I mean, you don't have to keep everything in, but how is the podcast going there, like for you guys? Is that something like it seems like you guys are getting a lot of people on there. I mean, that's got to be great for you guys.
Are we
busy.
still? Do we still hold the record for most downloads?
That's what I meant to say. I was trying to ease into it. Are we still number one? Are we one still?
I hope you guys aren't number one from last time after this one. If that's an answer for you, yeah, you guys were the most downloaded episode. So congrats.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
They're found. Hey, you two as well. Hey, hosts, get in here.
How did you guys celebrate the exact same way?
Marty and I are on the same wavelength.
Pattison Media.
We even
over there.
did this at the same time.
Yeah.
hey, listen, we're in sync like we're both Justin Timberlake. You know
yeah, exactly.
In sync.
Well, I guess this is the end of the podcast. We're going to give you guys a couple minutes to say whatever you want to say. And tell people where they can find you as well.
I'm going to use this to pump the podcast that I co-host, Cold Hard Sports Talk. We've got merch now. It's awesome. Hat here that I'm wearing as well is sweet. Hoodies, t-shirts, masks, mugs, tank tops, bucket hats, whatever. We've got it all for you. So yeah, and check that out. CH Sports Talk, Cold Hard Sports Talk. You can find it on all the socials. Yeah.
You're going to be like the Riders soon and have something on everything.
I hope so.
Get sweatpants too there, Matt.
Ooh.
You got to get a watermelon. Hey, talking like the Riders. You got to get a watermelon for the dome with just the logo etched into it. Yeah.
Just carved in.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Etched in stone of the watermelon. But first of all, I'll just say on that point, I check out the odd podcast clip that you guys do as well. And again, not to give a second plug here, who's this guy? But Kyle Schneider, I think it was. You guys had on one day, and I listened to his story, and hilarious. You know what I mean? Hilarious.
Why? Oh, so funny.
You guys do an awesome job there. It's always fun to check it out on the old timeline there. So just like you guys, the Lang and LeBlanc podcast there. But for myself, no other podcasts for me. Just doing this right now. And if you want to read up on the North Stars or anything like that, check out Battlefords now. I have been thinking about maybe doing some things creatively, looking back at kind of the years that are on my Twitter feed. We'll see where that goes. But if you haven't followed me up, I'm not asking you to, but if you want to, Marty PXP1. And we're always doing stuff. I always tweet out my articles. So if you missed anything, it's on there. And I'll try and do something a little bit creative this summer here, maybe with some of these teams here from these last couple of years. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much again. This was awesome. And we're definitely going to have you again next month, whether that be on a golf course or in a basement. I actually moved up from the basement, if you guys have noticed. I don't know if you guys were in the basement episodes. Were you?
I don't think so.
I don't think I was in the bunker. I think I was over here.
On the couch.
We've always been on when you're in the penthouse. Come on. You're in the penthouse. Every time we're on, you got the deer guy there in behind you. Looking dapper. Come on. So, yeah. No, always a pleasure to come on. I know both Matt and I were talking even earlier today. See you on the pod there. So, yeah, it's always a good time and good to see you guys. And, again, doing a great job there. It's always fun to listen in.
Yeah, lots of fun, boys. I enjoy I feel blessed to let you guys have me on the podcast once in a while,
We're still waiting for our invites. Like my invite's still
summer.
Ready.
You got all summer, man.
Well, this is your second podcast, so just saying. Next month it'll be 3. Next
could
month
slip her
it'll be
into
4.
your first podcast there if you wanted.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, you guys. If you guys are still listening to this episode, thank you for listening to the entire Lang and LeBlanc episode today. If you don't follow us on Twitter yet, you can do that on Twitter at Lang LeBlanc Live, on Instagram at Lang LeBlanc Live, on Facebook at the Lang and LeBlanc Podcast. Subscribe to us wherever you can. Check out our website at langleblancpodcast.com. That's Langleblancpodcast.com. Thank you guys all so much for listening. Thank you to all 4 of us who made it through the podcast. We're going to see you guys in 3-4 days with Saskatchewan Saturday night.
Second edition.
All right.
Thanks, Matty. Thanks, Marty.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, guys.
The views and opinions expressed on the Lang and LeBlanc podcast are solely those of the hosts, producers, and guests of the program. They in no way, shape, or form reflect those of any affiliates the presenters or guests represent.